Have you ever had a friend who meant the world to you? A friend you'd do anything for? Today, we're diving into a classic tale about a friendship so strong, it could melt the coldest ice. This is the story of Gerda Kai and the formidable Snow Queen. Our story begins in a bustling town where two best friends, Gerda and Kai, lived side by side. They weren't just neighbors, they were like brother and sister. Their families had built a little garden bridge between their windows, high above the street, where they grew beautiful roses. This rose garden was their special place, a symbol of their warm and loving friendship. They spent every moment they could together, reading stories, playing games, and tending to their precious flowers. But one day, something terrible happened. An evil troll had once created a magic mirror. This wasn't just any mirror, it was a wicked one. It made everything beautiful and good look ugly and twisted, and it magnified every tiny flaw. One day, the troll's apprentices tried to carry the mirror up to the heavens to mock the angels, but they dropped it. It shattered into millions, billions, even trillions of tiny pieces, spreading all across the world like dust. These shards were incredibly dangerous. If a tiny splinter got into someone's eye, it would make them see only the bad in everything. And if a piece found its way into someone's heart, their heart would turn to a lump of ice. One winter afternoon, as Kai and Gerda were looking at a picture book, Kai suddenly cried out. A sharp pain struck his eye, and then another in his heart. Two tiny splinters from the troll's mirror had pierced him. Instantly, his personality changed. He became cruel and cynical. He mocked their beautiful roses, saying they were ugly and full of worms. He pushed Gerda away and found joy in pointing out the flaws in everything and everyone. Gerda was heartbroken. Her sweet, kind Kai was gone, replaced by this cold, distant boy. The change in Kai grew worse with each passing day. He started playing with the rougher boys in the town square, leaving Gerda behind. One snowy day, he took his little sled to the square. As he was playing, a magnificent, large white sleigh appeared, driven by a figure cloaked in a brilliant white fur coat. Intrigued, Kai tied his small sled to the back of the grand sleigh. The sleigh took off, going faster and faster, leaving the town far behind. Kai became frightened and tried to untie his sled, but he couldn't. The sleigh finally stopped, and the driver turned around. It was a woman, tall and beautiful, but her skin was as white as snow, and her eyes shone like cold, bright stars. It was the Snow Queen. She smiled at Kai, a smile that was chillingly beautiful. She lifted him into her sleigh, wrapped him in her fur coat, and gave him a kiss. Her kiss was colder than ice. It froze his heart completely, making him forget all about Gerda, his family, and his home. He only saw perfection in the Snow Queen and her icy world. She swept him away to her palace in the far, frozen north, a place made entirely of snow and ice. Back in town, no one knew what had happened to Kai. They searched everywhere, but he was gone. Everyone assumed the worst, that he had fallen into the river and drowned. Gerda was devastated. She refused to believe he was gone forever. Her heart told her he was alive somewhere, and she knew she had to find him. When spring arrived, Gerda decided she could wait no longer. She put on her little red shoes, her most treasured possession, and set off on her own. Her journey began at the river. She offered her precious shoes to the water, hoping it would tell her where Kai was. A little boat seemed to respond, drifting toward her. She climbed in, and it carried her down the stream, away from her home and into the unknown. Her quest was long and filled with challenges. First, she drifted to the garden of an old woman who was a sorceress. The woman wanted Gerda to stay with her forever, so she used her magic to make Gerda forget all about Kai. But one day, Gerda saw a rose on the sorceress's hat, and the memory of her own rose garden with Kai came flooding back. She ran away from the garden and continued her search. Next, she met a kind crow who told her about a princess who had just married a clever young prince. The crow thought this prince might be Kai. With the crow's help, Gerda snuck into the palace, but the prince wasn't Kai. The princess and prince were so moved by Gerda's story of love and loyalty that they gave her warm clothes, a golden carriage, and supplies to help her on her journey north. But her travels were still perilous. As her golden carriage passed through a dark forest, it was ambushed by robbers. They were about to take everything when the robber chief's daughter, a wild and fierce little girl, decided she wanted Gerda as her playmate. Trapped in the robber's den, Gerda told her story to the little robber girl and her captive reindeer. The reindeer, who was from the north, knew of the Snow Queen and her palace. The little robber girl, surprisingly touched by Gerda's devotion, decided to help her. She freed Gerda and the reindeer, giving them food and sending them on their way to Lapland. The reindeer carried Gerda swiftly across the snowy landscapes. They stopped to rest at the home of a Lapp woman, who wrote a message on a dried fish for a Finn woman further north who could help them. The Finn woman read the message and revealed the secret to defeating the Snow Queen. She told the reindeer that Gerda's true power didn't come from magic or weapons. Her strength was in her pure, innocent, and loving heart. That love was more powerful than anything the Snow Queen possessed. Finally, they reached the borders of the Snow Queen's domain. The air was freezing, and sharp winds blew snowflakes like daggers. The reindeer couldn't go any further. Gerda had to face the final part of her journey alone. As she walked towards the palace, the Snow Queen's guards, giant, menacing snowflakes, charged at her. Gerda was terrified, but she knelt and began to pray. As she prayed, her warm breath transformed into little angels that fought off the snowflake guards, clearing a path for her. She entered the immense, empty, and chillingly silent ice palace. In the center of a vast, frozen lake, she found him. There was Kai, his face pale and his lips blue with cold. He was trying to spell the word eternity with pieces of ice. The Snow Queen had told him that if he could spell it, he would be his own master and she would give him the whole world. But his heart and mind were so frozen that he couldn't do it. He didn't even recognize Gerda. Gerda ran to him and threw her arms round his neck. She cried hot, loving tears that fell onto his chest and thawed his frozen heart. As his heart melted, Kai began to cry too. His tears washed the troll's mirror splinter from his eye. He looked at Gerda, and finally, he remembered everything. He was free. The ice pieces he had been playing with, joyful at their reunion, danced around and formed the word eternity, all by themselves. Their quest was complete. Hand in hand, Gerda and Kai left the icy palace. The world outside seemed to rejoice with them. The reindeer was waiting, along with the Finn and Lapp women, who helped them on their journey home. They traveled back, meeting all the kind friends they had made along the way. When they finally arrived home, they found that everything was just as they had left it, but they themselves had changed. They were no longer children, but grown up, yet they still had the same loving hearts of their childhood. They sat in their little garden, surrounded by their blooming roses, forever grateful for a friendship that was strong enough to conquer the cold and bring them back together. And that's the powerful story of Gerda and Kai. It's a beautiful reminder that love, kindness, and loyalty are the most powerful forces in the world. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales. See you next time.